everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I've heard a lot about you. I understand that you've been sharing lots of books in the library and you're reading at home, and that you've enjoyed a couple of books that I have written. I actually come from Canada, but I've been living in the UAE for 8 years now. And while here, I decided to write a couple of books because I love to read, I love books, and I love to share books with boys and girls. And I'm so happy that your Miss Rana has introduced you to my books. I think you're familiar with The Egret Tree. The Egret Tree is a counting book, and it was written about a real tree that you can find in Al Ain, because I lived in Al Ain for 5 years before moving to Abu Dhabi. And when I saw this tree with all the egrets that used to come back and forth to the tree, I decided to write a children's counting book. So it's a good counting book for maybe like kindergarten. Grade 3s, you might find it a little bit older, a little bit young, but maybe not, because it's still fun to look at the pictures and look at how the pictures go with the text. And there's some little activities at the back too, where you can find the different objects in the egret tree. But what's really interesting, if you ever get a chance to go to Al Ain, and I've had the opportunity to go back several times, you can observe the colony of egrets coming and going from this tree. They're real birds in the tree, and there are hundreds of them. So this book only goes up to number 10, but the actual tree is the home to hundreds and hundreds of egrets. And it's so much fun to go by that tree and to see the egrets building their nests and seeing them come with little insects to feed the little baby egrets. And it's just great to watch. So if you ever get a chance to go to Al Ain, please go visit the egret tree. And if you do want to have a copy of the egret tree, you can get it from Early Starters. It's a fun book to look at and to count and to try some of the activities at the end. Now we have a new book out, and it's called Sultan Saves. So Sultan Saves is written in English, and it is also available in Arabic. And this is a fun book that we decided to write. I wrote it actually, and my husband did the drawings or the illustrations. He's the illustrator, and I am the author. And the fun thing about this book is that it teaches you how to save for something that you want. So does everyone understand the difference between a want and a need? No, not sure? How about if we do a little activity? And I think that you'll be really good at doing this. I have a basket here. This is my basket. And I'm going to call this my needs basket. And then I have another little basket here. And I'm going to call this my wants basket. And I'm going to ask you to help me decide which things are needs and which things are wants. Because sometimes there are things that we really need in life. And usually our parents will buy these things for us. But sometimes there are things that, we really want. And our parents won't always buy the things that we want. So we have to figure out how we can get these things that we want. But let's see if you can help me determine the difference. Here I have a bag of Doritos, okay, which is a snack. Do you think that this would be a need? Do we really, really need to have Doritos? Or is it something that we want? A want, exactly. So we're going to put it in this bag here, this basket here for wants. Good for you. Okay, here we have a pair of socks. So a pair of socks would represent clothing, okay, or socks themselves. So clothing and like socks, is that something we want or is it something that we need? Need, exactly. We'll put them in the needs basket. Here we have a toothbrush with some toothpaste. Do you think this is something that we need to have or just kind of want? Isn't it? You guys are excellent at this. How about this bag of rice, which is representing food, good food for our bodies? Definitely a need. Well done. You understand this really well.
Yeah.
Here we have a bottle of sanitizer. In this day and age with the coronavirus, we certainly need to have hand sanitizer. Now, I have a candy.
What?
We kind of want, exactly. It's not exactly healthy for us. Sometimes we want to have. Yeah, what else happened? What happened to my? Oh, I've lost my teddy bear.
Oh, see, you cannot. It's a wand. Your teddy bear is a wand too. You want a teddy bear.
A teddy bear would a want, yeah. But you know what? That's debatable because sometimes there's boys and girls who really need to have a teddy bear in order to keep them safe and not afraid of things. But it's debatable. I would say that it would be a want, but sometimes if you don't have any toys and you need a special teddy bear, it could be a need as well. What about this one here? This is a box of potato chip sticks. That would be exactly. A need? Some people would argue they need to have sticks. Yes, no, but you're right. It's really a want for sure. So I think you understand the difference between wants and needs really, really well.
Yes.
So in our story, Sultan Saves, he wants a shiny red car. So his mom and dad said to him, no, it's not a need, so we're not going to buy another car for your collection. The needs, it's actually a want. He really wants a shiny new car. So he decides he has to figure out a way in order to get what he wants. So let's see what happens in this new story. You see Sultan there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's he got there on the floor? You see picture?
Coins?
You see the shiny new car that he wants?
It's the money.
And over here it has a little money jar. Do you recognize this box here?
Yes. I know what he's doing. He's getting money. And then put it to save some money to get the golden car.
You have to save for money to get the golden car. Is that what it is? If you see right here, Sultan has a little money box. That's where he's saving his dirhams. But this one here, have you seen these in the malls or in the hypermarts out and around? These special boxes?
Yes.
This is a collection box for the Emirates Red Crescent. And the people donate money. And the money that's collected here is used to help people with needs. So they collect this money as a form of charity, and they spend it and help people with needs. So here we go. Here is Sultan Saves. So you see the store. He wants to go to the store and buy something he wants. Sultan wants a shiny new car for his collection. So on Sunday, Sultan feeds the fish in Baba's aquarium. He earns 1 dirham. What do you think he's going to do with his dirham?
Put it in the jar.
Exactly. He saves it in his special jar. Cha-ching. Who likes the sound of money? On Monday, Sultan waters the plants. That's another chore he decided to do. He earns 2 dirhams. He saves them in his special jar. How many does he have now?
3.
Got 3, exactly. So you can see how you can do a little bit of math with this book as well. On Tuesday, Sultan straightens his bed, tidies up his room. He earns 3 dirhams. What does he do with his dirhams?
Saves it in the special jar.
Saves them in his special jar. Exactly. How many? Cha-ching, cha-ching. How many does he have now?
6.
Okay. Excellent. You guys are good at math too. On Wednesday, Sultan tidies the playroom. He earns 4 dirhams. Where does he put them?
Special jar.
In his special jar. So you see, boys and girls, by the repetition of the language, you get to be able to read very fluently as well. He saves them in his special jar. So this is a good story for you to read, but also for you to share with a younger sibling in your family, because you could read this book to somebody younger and help them learn how to read too, because there's lots of repetitive language. On Thursday, Sultan visits his camel farm. Look, he's giving hay to the camels. And he earns 5 dirhams. Wow. That was a chore they got. Cha-ching, cha-ching. He got a lot of money for that chore. He saves them in his special jar.
Hello. Sorry.
Hi.
Ms. Rana, we have some children in the waiting room. Could you please let them in?
Here.
Thank you.
Are they all in now? Okay. So on Friday afternoon, Sultan helped his grandmother. And he doesn't earn any dirhams at all for doing that, because sometimes it feels good just to help others. So often we can do chores and not expect to earn any money. We just do chores to help other people. We had one little boy from Alain who read this story, and he loved the message here. He said, yes, he said, money can't buy love. And sometimes you just need to help other people for the goodness of your heart. So it looks like Jeddah was very, very happy that Sultan helped her, and she gave him a big hug. So on Saturday, Sultan counts his money. How many dirhams does he have? Can you remember?
15.
You add all the dirhams that he saved in his special jar, he now has 15. So where do you think he's going to go?
To the shop.
Exactly. So Sultan goes to the souk with Baba, Mama, and his sister, and he takes the 15 dirhams with him. He goes into the store. There's all kinds of things for sale in the store. If you look at the illustrations, you'll notice that the illustrator has spent a lot of time putting different objects on the shelf. And I don't know if you can see here, there's our other book called The Egret Tree. So in this particular souk, you can buy the egret tree on the counter, called The Others Were Missing. I'll tell you a little bit about that. It's another one of our books that my husband wrote, actually. So I'll tell you about that one afterwards. But right here, he looks at all the things and he decides to pick out his shiny red car. Can you see the price tag on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, how much?
10.
You see how much it is? 10 dirhams. So remember, how many dirhams has Sultan saved?
15 dirhams.
He's got 15 dirhams. What he does, he empties his jar, he counts out 10 dirhams, and he pays for his car. So if we set up the mathematical equation, do you write mathematical equations for word problems? Yes. So you can see here, he had 15 dirhams. He's going to subtract the 10 dirhams that he uses to pay for his car. And how much money does he have left over?
5.
So he has 5 dirhams left, and he puts them back into his jar. Outside the shop, there is a donation box. So here you can see different donation boxes around the around Abu Dhabi or Dubai, around everywhere actually. But the ones that you notice a lot are the Emirates Crescent. So outside, Sultan counts out his 5 dirhams and puts the money in the box. It is a donation for the Emirates Red Cross. Very kind of Sultan to do that. So his Baba says, "We are so proud of you," says Baba. you earned enough money for the red car that he wanted, and you donated money to help others, says Mama. She smiles. Sultan is very happy. He also feels proud. Now, we should try to make donations to help people who have needs all through the year. But I know right now is Ramadan, and at Ramadan, people think even more about donating money to help other people in need. So I'm really happy and proud of Sultan that he understood the difference between wants and needs. He wanted something himself, so he decided to earn his own money. And then with the extra money that he earned, he decided to help others in need. So really, it was a win-win situation because he earned money, he saved money, he spent his money, but he also donated his money. So he's learning a bit about financial literacy, how to earn money, how to save it, how to donate, how to spend it so that he gets what he wants, plus he's able to help others. Plus, he gets this wonderful feeling of pride because he's done it himself by helping others and by setting up chores. So there's different chores that you could do if you wanted to save your money. It's maybe your teacher can help you generate a list of different chores that you could possibly do to save money. And another thing that you can do is make your own money. Oh, there it is over there in that Juan's basket. Make your own little money jars. So what we've done with Miss Yasmin at Early Starters before in a workshop there is we've made little money jars using sticks tins. So you'd need to ask your mom or dad or somebody older to help you put a little slit there so it's big enough to fit a dirham. Then you can decorate your box and you can use a recycled material, which is also good for helping the environment, to make your own little money box, decide what chores you're going to do in order to earn money and start saving. And then after a while, I don't have anything in my money jar, but there'll be a ching, ching, ching there with all your dirhams saved up. So that'd be kind of fun. Just to continue with the rest of this book, there's a little something special at the end that you can take a look at when, if you ever get this book in your library. Right here, there's some questions that you can use for discussion, either in your classroom with your teacher or with your other classmates, or there's other, you can also use these questions to discuss with your mom and dad at home. And also at the back of this book, it invites you to try to do some of these math problems. There's addition, subtraction, a multiplication, and a division. And you can also make up your own word problems. That's always fun to do. It's to make up your own word problems, and then get your classmates to try to figure them out. It's always fun. I'm always up for a challenge like that. So that's our new book, Sultan Saves. It's a little glossary here that explains a couple of the Arabic and English, and it's also available in Arabic, which is kind of fun. So I thought maybe you might be interested in looking at how some of the illustrations are done. So if you see this picture here, who is this? You recognize it? Yeah, it's the beginning of Sultan. And here is Sultan with some color.
Wait a minute.
And you can see here. Back there. There's Sultan with a grocery bag by his side, but his hands are up and he's actually reaching into the trunk of a car when he's helping his grandmother unload the groceries. So what happens, Mr. Gerald, when he does the illustrations, he uses black line markers to do his illustration. He draws it in pencil usually before, then he traces it around with the black line marker. Then he uses materials such as these wax-based crayon sticks to get the color. So you see there's Sultan without his hair colored, but other things are beginning to get colored there. And some of the other illustrations that we started, there's the grandmother, in the trunk of the car.
You.
And there's Sultan with his grocery bag there. So he uses those sticks, and he also has colored leads, Prismacolor colored leads that he uses. And then what happens, he takes advantage of the technology. So what he does is he scans the pictures and puts them into a computer program such as paint.net. And then he manipulates the different parts of the illustrations and places them in to get the full picture. And then we have to insert the text or the writing of the words until we get the text and the pictures put in the right places on the pages. And then next, it gets published and goes to a printer who prints out the books. This one actually is a hardcover, whereas this one, the egret tree. Oh, what do I do with my egret tree? There we go. The egret tree, this one is a soft cover. So that's how the books actually come to life. And one of the important things here in the Emirates is that before you can publish a book, you have to get special permission from the Media Council, and you have to make sure that there's an ISBN number put there. So that's how they put these on the books and keep track of the books that are sold. And there's a special code on that. So that's how books come to life, from the inspiration to the writing to the illustrating and then the publication. Now, did you have somebody have your hand up? You had a question? Any questions? I noticed something in your classroom. I like to see the Canadian flag back there. Have you been studying about Canada? Are you studying about Canada a little bit? No?
Actually, Miss Daphne, in 5A, Mr. John, they're also from Canada.
Also from Canada. Oh, hello, fellow Canadian. Which part of Canada? I don't know if he can hear me there. You don't know where he is, where he comes from? Which part of Canada?
Yeah, we come from just south of Calgary, actually.
South of Calgary. Okay, I'm a Newfoundlander. Right on the East Coast. So boys and girls, do you have any questions about the process of writing and illustrating and publishing? Maybe Miss Rana can moderate that so we can. It's a little girl there with her hand up. Yes.
Yes.
What's your question?
Unmute yourself, Anna.
Who inspired you to become a book writer?
Oh, who inspired me? Well, I'll go way, way back. When I was a little girl, I was very, very fortunate to have parents who loved to read. Them for helping me become very interested in books and very interested and passionate about reading. So I've read books all my life. And I used to teach. I taught for 32 years in Canada, and I always stopped everything to read to the boys and girls in my classroom every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, because reading is so important and it just opens our imaginations, and we can learn so much. We can go everywhere in a book, really, truly, and learn so many things. So when I finished teaching, actually, and I came to the United Arab Emirates, I decided, you know what? I love to read. Why don't I write a book that has some connection to the boys and girls who live here in the UAE? So one day, we were driving, feedback there. We were driving in our lane, and we came across a tree by an intersection where there was lots and lots of traffic. And I thought to myself, why are all these birds living in this tree so close to so many cars going by all the time? But I think what happened was the tree was there first, their home was there first, and then the government built the road. But it's a good example of how we can coexist with the environment and with nature. Anyway, I saw all these birds there, and in the morning, they all left the tree to go out on their daily adventures. And in the evening, when the sun went down, they all came back again. And there are hundreds and hundreds of birds in this. So I decided to write a counting book. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to go to 100 in the counting book. This book only goes to 10, but it talks about the different egrets coming along and living in the tree. So it was actually a real tree that inspired me to write this book, this counting book about the tree in Al Ain, which you can visit one day if you ever have a chance to go there. It's fascinating to watch all the birds in their colony there. And the last time I went, the colony has actually grown. And I also noticed there was a different kind of bird there. And the bird that was there, I think, is an ibis. And I thought to myself, this is very interesting that we have birds who are tolerating each other, cooperating and coexisting. And that was kind of an inspiration to think about how people get along and how they can work together and they can cooperate and get lots of things done. So that's a very interesting concept that might be inspiration for another story. The Sultan Saves, I realized that a lot of boys and girls didn't understand the difference between things they wanted and things they needed. And so I decided to write this book as a very basic introduction to financial literacy so that boys and girls could learn how they could save their own money by doing chores, and then they could spend their money on something they wanted. So they learned how to earn and save and spend in this story. But then they also learned another very important part of financial literacy, how to donate. And at Ramadan particularly, we donate, but it's something that we really should think about all year round. So that's why I decided to write Sultan Saves, so that boys and girls here in the Emirates could think about needs and wants, how to earn and how to save and how to spend and how to donate. And another book that I didn't write, my husband wrote this one. This one's called The Others Were Missing. And this one actually talks about the steps of getting to acceptance. So we have unfriendliness, because the main character here is called Anybody. And then he learns to tolerate other people he works with. They try to understand each other, and then they accept each other. And when they accept each other and work together, they're able to produce a beautiful play that they put on for their school in the classroom by working together. Because sometimes we can be a little bit bossy and we want to just do things our way. And this story kind of touches on how anybody learns to get along with others and to cooperate. And very quickly he realizes that when you learn about other people and accept other people and start to work together, lots of very valuable things can be done. Yeah, so that's a fun book too. But that was my husband, he was the illustrator of this one. Looks like kind of chalk drawings, doesn't it? But he actually used the same kind of pastel wax-based sticks. So we have The Others Are Missing, and we have Sultan Saves in English and in Arabic, and we have The Egret Tree, or our 3 books. So maybe we'll be inspired to write another book before we return to Canada. We'll see. But that's an excellent question.
Sorry, Miss Daphne,
So
Ryan has been waiting patiently. Ryan has a question.
Oh, question. Yes, please.
Miss, when did you publish your first book?
This book, I think, was published in probably it was ready for a long time, but then it takes a while to get it to the printers and out. So probably 2017, 2018. This one is very recent. This one has just been out maybe 6 months or so. So this is the newest book. And this one was just maybe 6 months before that. So in the past year or so. Yeah. Sometimes the ideas for these books have been around for a long time. Like the idea for this book was around a long, long time ago. And it was used in a classroom in Canada, actually, almost as a little story before it was ever published into a book. So this idea...
in the bookstore?
Sorry? Can you repeat your question?
He wants to know where he can get it from. What bookstore can he get it from?
Oh, well, are you participating right now in an on with early starters?
Yeah, so we have the early starters book fair. You can buy all of these books from there, and they have some really, really nice gifts. So if you're looking for Eid present, I would recommend Early Starters. And this fair is now continuing until the beginning of May.
Oh, fantastic. So do they log in on your website, Ms. Rana, for
Yes, they've all been given the link on the Class Dojo. So they follow the link and they can order virtually. And any problems, Ms. Yasmin is here to help.
Say is that books, I think, are one of the best gifts you can give, because a book keeps on giving. You unwrap your book and you can read it over and over and over again. So our books are available from Miss Yasmin at Early Starters, but there's also lots of other books that might pique your interest as well, because these are one of the best presents you can possibly receive or give, because it just goes on and on and on to get lots of enjoyment out of the book. And maybe one day you might think you have a story that you'd like to write down and draw pictures for, and you can be a published author too. It's great fun. And one thing I really like is being able to meet all the boys and girls like you who enjoy our books. That makes us very, very happy. And I'm delighted that you're reading these books and many others.